श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री रामानंद परब्रह्मणे नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री शिवानंद परब्रह्मणे नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री शंकर भगवत्पादाचार्य नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री नित्यानंद परब्रह्मणे नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री वेदव्यास भट्टारकाय नमः। Atma Namaskars to one and all who have attended the conference. You are all my Guru Swarupa. Today's topic is the 14th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, that is the yogam dealing with the division of the Trigunas, that is Sattva, Rajas, Tamo Gunas. You see the chapter pertaining to only Trigunas. Even though it looks a very simple chapter, but if you go into depth of it, this is also a very important chapter. This is also very important chapter. In continuation with the 13th chapter, Paramatma, without asking questions from Arjuna, Paramatma himself is started. In the 13th chapter, in the Kshatraja Vibhaga Yogam, when Paramatma was telling about the nature, that is the Prakriti, which is consisting of three gunas, Purusha Prakritisto hi bhunte Prakritijan gunam Karanam Gunasangosya Sadasad Yona Janmasu. In that stanza, Paramatma was describing about this nature. The Purusha, when he is entangled or comes into engaged with this Prakriti, which is having three gunas, depending upon the nature of the guna, he will get the birth of that form. That is Purusha Prakritisto hi bhunte. When he is enjoying the trigunas, the Purusha, when he is enjoying the trigunas, he will attain the form depending upon the gunas. That is, if the Sattvagunam, if he gets into the Sattvagunam, he will get the form of Devas. And the Rajogunam, he will get the human form or middle any other form. But the lower form, Tamogunam, you will get the senseless. Senseless means without much knowledge, most ignorant lower births, that is animals and birds. So in that chapter, Paramatma has mentioned, he has indicated how the births are coming into forth by having in contact with the nature, depending upon the gunas. Now, Paramatma himself is now going to describe about these trigunas. Describe about these trigunas. Parambhuyah pravakshami jnananam jnanamuttamam yajñātvā munes sarve param siddhim itom gataha. Parambhuyah pravakshami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñātvā munes sarve param siddhim itogataha. Here, Paramatma, because out of affection and love towards his devotee, disciple, he is going on describing in the same sub-chapter, same knowledge in different angles. Out of affection only, without asking questions from Arjuna, Paramatma himself started telling, Parambhuya, again I am going to tell you, Pravakshami, Jnananam Jnanamuttamam, that is, it is the best knowledge, supreme knowledge of all the knowledges, the knowledge available in the creation. So, Jnananam Jnanamuttamam, Yajñātvā munes sarve, after knowing this knowledge, that is what I am going to tell, Param siddhimito gataha. They attained the highest level of realization and they discarded this samsara. Yajnatva Munes Sarve, all the rishis, all the munis, they have attained the highest state of realization, and they have got rid of this samsara. Parambhuya pravakshami jnananam jnanamuttam yajnatva munes sarve sarve param siddhivito gataha. Like that they have attained the salvation. Now, how they have attained and what is their result, again Paramatma is telling. Idam jnanam upasricha mamasa dharmimagataha sarge pinopjayante pralaye na vyadhanti cha. Those who attend, those who have known this my supreme knowledge, who have practically got this knowledge, they have reached me and they have merged me in also. Idam jnanam upasricha, by resorting to this jnanam, that is what I am going to tell. Mamasa dhamyamagataha, they have merged in me, they have merged in me, they attained and they merged in me. Sargepi nopajayante, that means at the time of creation they will be never born. Pralaye na vyadhanti cha, even at this time of dissolution they will never die, they will never be troubled. That means they don't have a birth or death. Because I am birthless and deathless, they will also become birthless and deathless. That is the meaning of Sargepi nopajayante. At the time of creation they will never be born again. And pralaye na vyadhanti cha, at the time of dissolution also they will never die. Die means all pervasive, everlasting, eternal. So like that they will be, because they merged in me, they will be like that only. So they don't have any births and deaths. So if you know, after knowing the knowledge, that practical knowledge, they will be devoid of this birth and death cycles. So that is the meaning of these two slokas. Now Paramatma is going to tell about the relationship between the Purusha and Prakriti, that is like this. Mama yoni mahat brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhavas sarvabhutani tato bhavati bharata. This is a wonderful explanation told by Paramatma. Mama yoni mahat brahma. Mahat Brahma means here the Mula Prakriti, that is the my Prakriti. That Prakriti is mine only, but that Prakriti, from that only entire creation starts place. But in that Prakriti, tasmin garbham dadamyaham, I will take the help of my Prakriti, Mula Prakriti, and I will place my seed of life. Tasmin garbham. So I will take my Prakriti as the female's womb, and I will put my seed of life into that womb. I will be the seed giver, and the Prakriti will be receiving that seed, and it will give birth. Sambhavas sarvabhutani tato bhavati bharata. After that only all this creation, living beings come into forth. That is the start of this creation. Mama yoni mahat brahma. Mahat brahma here means Mula Prakriti. Yoni means here the place of birth. The place of birth, yoni, you know, yoni means the place of birth where we are born. So in that place I have put the seed of life. I have put the seed of love. Mama yoni mahat brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham. I have put my seed of life. Just like the ordinary creation also, and the male puts his semen, through that semen he will pass his spermatozoa, and that will be placed in the mother's, that is female's yoni, and where the ovum is ready to accept it, then only one of the spermatozoa, one single spermatozoa will enter into this ovum. Like that I will put my seed of life into the mother's womb. Tato bhavati bharata. Afterwards everything comes into existence. मम योनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति तासा ब्रह्म महद्योनि aham bija pradah pita. Here also now he is declaring himself that I am the father and the Prakriti is the mother. I am the father and the Prakriti is mother. That means whatsoever the form of creation came into existence, that is nothing but the combination of my and myself and the Prakriti. I am the father and the Prakriti is the mother. Prakriti is the mother. Mama yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya. Whatsoever the objects or forms came into existence, they are all nothing but the combination of for them I am the father and the my Moola Prakriti is the mother. So without the combination of myself and the Prakriti, nothing will come into existence. So creation means in the 13th chapter also, Yavas Sanjayate Kinchis Savaram Jangamam Kshetra Kshetra Sanyoga Tadidhi Bharatarshabha. In the 13th chapter also, Paramatma has declared himself that with this combination only entire creation came into existence. Now, what is this nature? What is the Prakriti? Now, I have already told about the relationship between myself and the Moola Prakriti, that is my Prakriti, Para Prakriti. Now, what is the nature of this Prakriti? Now, he is explaining. Sattva Rajas Tamayati Gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha Nivadhanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. Sattva Rajas Tamayati Gunaha. There are three gunas: Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. These three gunas, Prakriti Sambhava, they arise from the nature itself. So, wherever you say nature means, it contains these three gunas. Nature, Prakriti means without the existence of three gunas, there is no nature. Wherever you say nature means, there are three gunas. There are three gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamayati Gunaha, Prakriti Sambhavaha. Nibadhanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. These trigunas are only binding the Jiva. These trigunas only they are binding the Jiva, even though the Jivatma is independent, but after binding with these trigunas, he will be bound, he will be slaved, he is independent, not independent. Jiva is now not independent. But prior to coming in contact with this Prakriti, that there is nothing but the reflection of the Paramatma, he is independent. But after that, he will, when it is in contact with this Prakriti, which is in the form of Trigunas, he will become non-independent and will become Jiva. That's why, like that, he is bounded. He is bonded. He is bonded. Sattva Rajas Tamayati Gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha Nibhatnanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakasa Manavayam Sukhasangena Badhrati Jnana Sangena Chanagha. Now Paramatma is describing guna wise, that is how the Sattvagunam looks like. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakasaka Manavayam. That Sattvam, before telling about these trigunas, I will describe some more details in Upanishads. When you go into the details of these trigunas, then we can know thoroughly about this trigunas. In Upanishads, our Gurudev used to say what is Sattvam, what is Rajogunam, and what is Tamogunam. First fundamentals we should know. These trigunas are nothing but the difference in levels of energy. They are nothing but the difference in the levels of spiritual energy. The lowest energy is called Trigunam, and the higher energy is Rajogunam, and the highest energy is Sattvagunam. And again, the lowest energy is in inertia. That is inertness. It won't act outside. That is with less energy. That is called Tamogunam. And this Rajogunam is, even though there is energy that will be going on being exhausted, that will be spent throughout. It will never be stable, so irritable. That energy is called Rajoguna. For that, our Guru used to say, Vayuna Preritam Rajaha. Vayuna Preritam Rajaha means the Vayu. When the Prana Shakti is coming in contact with the outer world, that is when it is coming out through the expiration, more predominantly through the expiration, the Rajaha means you will come into the Rajogunam. That is the meaning of Rajogunam. Rajaha means when your mind, when your life force has started going downwards and outward, you are already entered into Rajogunam. So movement of life force itself is called Rajogunam. And when when the life force is moving, automatically mind also oscillates. So that also comes under Rajogunam. Vayuna Preritam Rajaha. And there is another beautiful example told by our Gurudev. That is, say for example, there is a white wall. There is a whitewashed wall is there. If you want to put some pictures, you will put some color. For example, there is a white wall. On that, you will put a black color with a square black color. You will before putting a picture, suppose you will put some black color, over which you will put some red pictures. You will put some red pictures. That white wall is Sattvagunam, that black color is Tamogunam, and the red pictures you have painted on that black color is called Rajogunam. So Sattvam is white, Rajogunam is red, and Tamogunam is black. So in that way you can understand. So and in other way we can say Tamogunam is otherwise called Avarana. For the this Vasana Balam or Sanchitam, there are three things which are described in Upanishads also. Mala, Vikshepa, Avarana. Mala means that is the accumulated Vasana impressions, that is the impressions of the previous births, that is called Malam. And Vikshepa means now itself it will always try to dissipate out. Our life and energy will be trying to dissipate out. It will go out. It won't stay inside. That is called Vikshepa Shakti. So this Vikshepa Shakti is very, very important. Our Gurudev used to say, Vikshepa Shakti Rajasa Swabhava. Vikshepa Shakti Rajasa Swabhava. The nature of this Vikshepa Shakti is coming from Rajogunam only. So the entire nature of Rajogunam is nothing but Vikshepa Shakti. Bandasya Hetur Malinam Rajogunam Mokshasya Suddham Virajas Tamaskam. In Viveka Chodamani, Adiguru Shankaracharya also told the same thing, that Bandasya Hetur Malinam Rajogunam. The Rajogunam is the real root for the bondage of the self. And Bandasya Hetur Malinam Rajogunam Mokshasya Suddham Virajas Tamaskam. When you get rid of this Rajogunam and Tamogunam, you will get Moksham. Mokshasya Suddham Virajas Tamaskam. So these are the main fundamentals before knowing about these Trigunas. According to the description in the Upanishads, Tamogunam is black, Rajogunam is red, and Sattvagunam is white. Even though Sattvagunam is white and pure, but when it is coming in contact with the other two things, it will become impure. So that's why this Sattvagunam is again divided into two parts. That is Malina Sattvam and Suddha Sattvam. Malina Sattvam and Suddha Sattvam. Suddha Sattvam means totally got rid of these three gunas, and especially these two gunas, that is Rajogunam and Tamogunas. But when the Rajogunam and Tamogunas are there, when a part of Sattvagunam is there, that part of Sattvagunam is called Malina Sattvam. That's why it is also being responsible for bondage. That is responsible for bondage. Now Paramatma is describing Tatra Sattum Nirmalatvat Prakashakam Anamayam. Sukha-sangena badhnati jnana-sangena chanagha. O sinless Arjuna, I am describing tatra sattvam nirmalatvat. That sattva is nothing but pure only. Prakasakam anamayam. It gives light only. Anamayam, it never be troublesome. It never be troublesome. It will be very peace and calmful, peaceful and calm. So tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasakam anamayam. It is always pure, and it is light giving. Sattvam means when there is light, it is sattvam. When there is sattvam, there is light. That is in the coming slokas we are going to describe. Here also prakasakam anamayam. Anamayam means there won't be any turbulence of the mind. It will become very peaceful, no troublesome. So tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasakam anamayam sukha-sangena badhnati jnana-sangena chanagha. How this sattva is also becoming responsible for this bondage, now Paramatma is explaining. Sukha-sangena badhnati. Sukham here, not that Brahmanandam. When it is in contact with the combination of the other two gunas, it will also try to enjoy the sensory pleasure. In that way, Sukha-sangena badhnati. That means here this Malina Sattvam will also try to engage this Jiva into the sensory pleasures. Sukha-sangena, sensory pleasures. And Jnana-sangena chanagha. Why this Jnana is also becoming bondage? Why? Because this Jnana is not that Jnanam. This Jnana is Vritti Jnanam. Vritti Jnana means that Jnanam, worldly knowledge, that worldly knowledge evolved out of this impure mind. So whatever the knowledge, what we are getting out of this impure mind, that will come under this Vritti Jnanam, that is also binding. That is, even though it is with the character of this Sattva only, that is binding. In that way, this Sukha-sangena badhnati jnana-sangena chanagha. Oh Anagha, oh sinless Arjuna, the Sattva guna is also binding. Why? When these two gunas, the coming Rajoguna and Tamogunas are divided, naturally this Malina Sattva will become Suddha Sattvam. This Malina Sattva will become Suddha Sattvam, and the Sukham will become Brahmanandam, that is eternal bliss. And the knowledge will become the practical, spiritual practical knowledge, that is wisdom, pure wisdom. So when it is combined with these two gunas, it is pure. When it is got divided of these two gunas, definitely it will become Suddha Sattvam and pure knowledge and pure light. This is the description about this Sattvam. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sangha samudbhavam tan nibadhnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. These are all very, very important slokas in Bhagavad Gita. Why, who is Rajogunu? Who is with Rajogunu? We can understand by knowing about this slokam. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sangha samudbhavam. Trishna means desire. Sangha means attachment. By being attached with some desire, that means when you are having some desire inside naturally you will be attached to some object. When you are trying to know, achieve that, possess that object, definitely you will put your mind onto that, so you will be having attached. When you are having that desire and having attachment with that particular object, naturally you will have the passion towards that object. That is called ragam. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sangha samudbhavam. That is the passion towards the sensory objects. Objects, you know, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasagandhas. All these, whatever you want to enjoy by these 5 objects only, we will have that passion because of this desire and this attachment. This is the very responsible fundamental of this Rajogunam. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sangha samudbhavam tat nibadhnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam, that is also the final result of rajogunam is nothing but karma sangena dehinam. It always provokes this jiva to do action. To do action, it won't keep you to be quiet. So karma sangena dehinam, it always provokes the man to be attached into actions, karmas. When you do karma means there will be motive, there will be desire again. So yad yaddi kurute karmam tat tat kamasya cheshtitam. Whatever action you do, you will have motive. When you have motive, you will have to face the fruit of it. That fruit is, it may be good or bad, but to experience that fruit, you have to be born again. That is the route for getting rebirth. So rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tad nibadhnate kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. In this way, this jiva is bounded by the rajogunam. Then coming to the tamogunam, tamastvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramada alasya nidrabhi tan nibadhnate bharata. Tamastvajnanajam vidhi. Here, what is meant by tamas? Tamas means darkness, chikati. Tamastvajnana, that is ignorance. Here, there is a close relationship between the ignorance and the darkness. Darkness is ignorance and ignorance is darkness. There is no separation between these two things. That is tamastvajnanajam vidhi. When you got tamas means that is nothing but ignorance. What is meant by ignorance? Lack of sufficient light. Lack of sufficient light means when your flame of mind is oscillating. Why it is oscillating? Because of oscillation of your life force. So when the life force is oscillating, that is coming downwards and outwards, mind will be oscillating. When it is oscillated, naturally you will be flickering. This will be flickering. Tamasvajnana. When it is flickering, the light of knowledge, that will be diminished. When it is diminished, there will be darkness. When there is darkness, that will give you to reverse knowledge. That is viparita jnana. Reverse knowledge means viparita jnana. That is false understanding. False understanding. That can be ultimately it will result into delusion, that is moham. First, misunderstanding, due to lack of sufficient light, there will be misunderstanding and false understanding. Then you will be deluded. You will be then naturally attracted to have that, because you have already lost the energy, life, happiness, and power. All these, when you are losing through the respiration, naturally you will try to regain them by means of these external objects. Actually, you don't want to to have these objects, but you want to derive that power which you have already lost through the means of these objects. That is the thing everybody wants to try to have it. Tamastvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam. All these jivas are diluted. So, when the tamogunam is there, naturally these jivas, all these souls will be deluded. And tamastvajnanajam vidhi mohanam nidra alasya nidra abhit tannivadhnati bharata. There are three fundamental basic qualities of tamogunam. That is pramadam. Pramadam means error making. That means we can say sheedlessness, that can be said, sheedless, unattentiveness. That pramada means unattentiveness, ajagrata, and pramada alasyam, laziness, lethargy, and nidrabhi. Naturally, you will get to sleep. See, sleep. These are the fundamental qualities of this tamogunam is, that is unattentiveness, lethargy, and drowsiness, that is sleep. These are the, when a person is having these qualities, definitely you are having tamogunam. So, before getting energy, when you have taken food, when you have taken food, that food is not now, and it is not converted into energy. There is a gap between the conversion of energy between the taking of food. There will be some gap. That during that gap you will get sleep. That is tamoguna. That is tamoguna. That means you don't have sufficient blood circulation to the brain. When the entire blood is diverted to your stomach, your blood circulation to the brain will be hampered. When it is hampered, you will get sleep. So sleep means 100%. Whether you get anything, sleep means you are deprived of blood circulation, deprived of prana shakti to the brain. That is a fundamental thing. Here, sleep means, now when Paramatma is describing about the tamoguna as sleep, now the world is always encouraging to have more sleep. So you should sleep for 6 to 8 hours. When you sleep, what does it mean? No, if you don't get sleep, if you sleep, you will BP and sugar will be increased, and that's why most of the people, the entire health functionary is very fond of to encourage this to have more sleep. But Paramatma is now telling that this is nothing but tamoguna. Tamoguna means inertia. That means you don't have any knowledge. So sleep for just to give the rest to the voluntary organs, functioning organs, just like the physical body and the mind and the what you call legs and hands and physical activity. You give rest to the physical activity and somewhat mental activity also. But the vital organs will be going on functioning. They will be going on in for a tamoguna jiva also, they will be going on functioning. But you should never allow to hamper your blood circulation to the brain. That is the main thing. But who wants to say about the spiritual knowledge? Simply sleep. So sustain the body, everybody encourages more sleep. This is not good. If you want to have spiritual knowledge, you should have sufficient mental energy by doing sadhana. With that only, you will have that state of Gudakesha. Guda means sleep. Isa means master.